Hey, it's Jordan here before an Elizabeth Warren rally. She's going to have Julian Castro with her. I'm here with Rivkie.
Hey. Yeah.
Hey.
Yeah.
So what brought you here? Obviously, looks like a big crowd from the line outside.
Yeah, definitely a big crowd. I got to be honest, my brother from Massachusetts is really the one who gets the credit for me being out here. I've never done anything besides voting with politics, so I'm really happy I did this today, and I'm hoping that Warren can really help with the anti-Semitism within, that's coming up in New York City a lot and affecting the Jewish community. I really think that she's someone who can really help us put a stop to it. And climate change and the bushfires in Australia, there's a lot of different concerns that I think she can, take care of.
On climate change, what's interesting is, you familiar with the Sunrise Movement?
No.
So it's a big climate activism group,
Okay.
and they actually just came out yesterday criticizing Warren because she supported this new trade deal. They call it NAFTA 2.0,
Okay.
which is kind of moving pollution from America to Mexico, but still pollution is pollution.
Right.
So yeah, like a big climate activist group criticized her for basically voting for this, or it hasn't been voted on yet, which is going to add to pollution. What are your thoughts on that?
Well, I guess I would need more information to really have a clear idea, but from my perspective, I think that pollution in general is bad. There's obviously a level of pollution that we can't avoid, like, we are still going to be flying with airplanes that has a lot of pollution. There's a level that we can't avoid, and then there's the level that we can avoid. Mm-hmm. I just think as long as we do our best to make sure that we're not going beyond the point that, we really could do without. I think that's really the main point.
And you mentioned the anti-Semitism. Obviously, there was a big rally the other day here in New York. Do you look at Bernie at all, since he'd be the first Jewish president, or he's not of interest to you?
I do look at Bernie a little bit as well. I do think that there's a lot of reasons why I would support Warren, reproductive rights, as well as, health care, education. She's really a, good politician, and I really believe in a lot of her different policies that she would, come with, and I really think that this might be, what our country needs to really go around the corner and just leave so much chaos that's happening right now.
I want to push back on the healthcare a little bit, because she was thriving. She was actually in first place at one point when she was like with Bernie. She said, "I'm with Bernie on Medicare for all." Then she's kind of like, I don't know, I compare it to Michael Jackson, like moonwalking. She was with Bernie, then she's like, well, Medicare for all is a framework. Now she's saying we'll do a public option first, which is a public option. To get that through in her first 100 days is going to be hard enough. Even if she could get that through, she's then saying in year 3, we're going to then go for Medicare for all. She's basically saying we're going to get 2 massive changes to the healthcare system done in 3 years. People say Bernie's pie in the sky. That doesn't seem likely that she could do that.
Well, I guess in the end of the day, a lot of things happen in America that you wouldn't think are likely. People come here, immigrants, they're trying to leave poverty, they're trying to leave anti-Semitism in the countries they're coming from, and there's a lot of different things that happen that you wouldn't think would happen. So just like there's this huge rise in anti-Semitism and this huge rise in different hate groups forming, at the same time, I think that on the flip side, a lot of positivity can also happen, just as unrealistic as it sometimes might look. But I still think that there's a chance, and you never know what's going to happen until it does.
What do you think? I mean, the bottom line is you got millions of people uninsured, people rationing insulin, people, deciding between groceries or paying for medication.
Exactly.
Her plan isn't universal health care. It's kind of like, oh, here's something for the first year, then we'll fight for this. Is that enough, considering how bad the situation is?
It's really bad how the situation is now, but I think you got to take it one step at a time. I mean, if she can come up with a plan that helps, the first year, then from there you come up with the second year. It's all about helping people right now. So whether it's a long-term, short-term, when the short-term is ending, you come up with another short-term. Or I just think the point is to really work on the now,
You aware her health care plan would basically, if she got it through in the first 100 days, would help people under 18 and people over 50. People between 18 and 50, the majority of them would still be stuck with the private health insurance industry.
Yes,
I don't know if you saw in 2019, private health insurance premiums went up 20%.
Yeah, so there definitely is a bit of concern with that as I'm over 18. But at the same time, I think that prioritizing those under 18 and those over 50 is a really good start, because in the end of the day, those under 18 don't have the same access as people who are above 18 to get jobs, pay for health care. They have a lot less advantages for them, a lot less opportunity. And I, to some degree think the same is for those over 50. People retire, earlier and earlier, and it's, I think that those two groups definitely need to be the priority, I would say, but I would still think that individuals 18 to 50 would at some point need to be included in that, ratio.
And lastly, just so I could pinpoint it, you think someone like Bernie is going too far, even though polls show, like some polls say 70% of Americans want like capital M Medicare for all, not this in-between plan?
Well, I guess it's really, everything has pros and cons in the end of the day. But I think at the same time, it's better to start small and build your way up. There's a saying in the Bible, actually, that you should...
You're getting biblical on me.
...a little and actually do a lot, instead of saying you're going to do a lot and then do a little. Yeah. I would rather be...
The only problem with that is the Bible wasn't up against Mitch McConnell in midterm elections. So, for example, Warren, her plan is assuming I'm going to get public option through on the first 100 days, and then in year 3, I'm going to go for Medicare for all, but there's a midterm election in between those things, and most of the time, the president's party loses in the midterm elections, so she might not even have full control of Congress. So it's, I'm down with the Bible. My dad's a big Zionist, but come on now. I just think it's kind of a little fairy dust and fairy tales, because she has a plan for everything, but I mean, Obama could barely... The Obamacare was actually originally a Republican plan, and he could barely get that through with a full Democratic House. So I think a lot of Warren supporters are kind of missing that point, that it would be very difficult to get a public option through, and then all of a sudden, in year 3, after her approval ratings are down, she's up for re-election the next year, get that through.
Well, I guess at a certain point you gotta wait and see what's gonna happen, but I have hope for Warren. I think that, she got this, and, she might be able to do what people before her couldn't. They always say there's always the first one who could do something that wasn't done before. You know what I mean? Christopher Columbus discovered America. Nobody did that before him. There's always got to be the first one. So I think Warren can be the first one.
Thank you so much. Appreciate it.
You're welcome.
Can you spell your name for me?
Sure. That's Rivkie.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
No problem.
Take care. Hope you enjoyed that last video. Hop on over to statuscoup.com, where you can sign up for our email list and become a member for as low as $5 to $10 a month. Membership is how we grow. That's statuscoup.com/join. And remember, join our email list so we can grow the revolution with you.